Mwanya, and together with the rest of the board of FINCA Uganda who are here, I'll not mention them by names, but most especially we have the pleasure as well of hosting our global president of FINCA Impact Finance. That is the company that oversees the operations of FINCA globally. And FINCA Uganda is one of 16 subsidiaries of FINCA Impact Finance that is based out of Washington, D.C. He's Jeff Flowers. And Jeff, we welcome you to Uganda. Thank you. Today we have the pleasure of hosting Jeff Flowers with us, but we will also be unveiling a very special guest today. And I'll not go into the details of who that guest is, but I'll allow Jeff to speak to that when he makes remarks to you. This is coming on the backdrop of a number of things. 2 years ago, you were here with me when we celebrated FINCA's 30 years anniversary in Uganda. Today, this year, we are 32 years in Uganda. And our special guest today has been with FINCA throughout all that journey. Globally, FINCA Impact Finance, or FINCA International, if I'll call that, our shareholders, celebrate 40 years in existence. And that 40-year mark arrived this year. Now, it is FINCA, as we stand for, at the forefront of financial inclusion. Our stories of impact couldn't be any greater than to have those who have actually felt that impact today. And our special guest will be a testimony to that. We join the group as we celebrate those 40 years. And we also come with renewed commitment for continued service to the Ugandan market. We have made significant progress in Uganda as FINCA, serving millions of customers across this market. And to date, we have over 150,000 customers working in almost all regions of Uganda. And a number of these customers are leveraging on our investments in digital financial services through the various modes that reaches the last mile of the customers in Uganda. So without much ado, I want to take the pleasure and opportunity to invite our board chair to have a few remarks for you, and also invite our global president, Jeff Flowers, to speak to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, James. The global president and CEO of FINCA, Jeff Flowers, my fellow board members that are here. I mean, I think you've seen them. Right from there, we have a director, Colin Muyanja. We have two Collins. We have Colin B and Colin Babirukamu and Colin Muyanja. And then we have Director Richard Mugera. I'll jump Jeff. Here we have Director Deborah, Director Colin Babirukamu, Director Keith. Yeah, and Safia, Director Safia. Is there anyone missing? No, and Director Safia. So those are the board members of FINCA Uganda. And just before I go into my remarks, I think I want to thank you very much, the Third Estate, the members of the media, for the job that you're doing in promoting FINCA. As you already know, the work we do in the communities, we are touching the very, very needy people who need financial accessibility in order to be able to run successful businesses, change families, educate children, take children to hospitals. So for us to be able to achieve that, we rely significantly on the visibility, awareness, and communications that you give. So thank you very much. We've been following what you're doing, and we know we cannot win this journey without you. So please continue promoting FINCA Uganda, FINCA globally, and sharing the winning stories that can make a change in society. Okay, so it gives me the pleasure on behalf of FINCA Uganda, Board of Directors, management and staff, to warmly welcome you to this meeting this morning. To us, it's an opportunity where we are going to share with you some of the successes that we've been able to achieve, but also we're able to share with you where we see FINCA should be going in the next 5 to 10 years. As you're already aware, FINCA is the oldest MDI in Uganda that began from a humble village to where we are today. So there's total commitment from FINCA on where we are going. Since FINCA's founding in 1984, the organization has focused on empowering women in order to achieve financial independence and create prosperous futures for themselves and their families. FINCA has long offered tailored financial products and financial literacy trainings, and in Uganda alone, the organization has supported over 530,000 individuals and their families. And as we speak today, we have built a customer base of over 150,000 customers, of which 45.5 are women. So if we are speaking about the challenged society, the challenged gender, that actually in Uganda runs the day-to-day management of families, especially in the category we're talking about, is women. So FINCA is in 45.5 women that are being supported. FINCA Uganda is also proud to expand its impact to some of the most marginalized communities in Uganda. For example, FINCA Uganda is extending its outreach beyond Ugandan nationals to refugees to strengthen their resilience and ability to contribute to the Ugandan economy. As you know, if we don't play in the refugee sector, we are missing the point. Because the refugees, once they're in Uganda, they become more or less Ugandans, and the impact on how we do things. Today, we are here to unveil our brand ambassador, and we believe that that story is a true representation of FINCA, and thousands of women will see themselves in her footsteps, and she will inspire them to improve on their own living situations. Time and time again, women are a strong pillar to society, and when a woman succeeds financially, their families and communities are the greatest beneficiaries of this success. Therefore, as FINCA, we still commit where we started to say the women play a significant role, and there will be a big footprint for FINCA. FINCA remains committed to promoting gender equality through targeted initiatives and programs designed to address the unique needs and challenges faced by women entrepreneurs. It continues to expand its reach and strengthen its offerings. FINCA further aims to foster sustainable economic growth and empower women to build brighter futures for themselves and their communities. Allow me right now to acknowledge and appreciate you, Jeff Flowers, and your entire team globally. Members of the press, without the global team, FINCA cannot run on its own. So the FINCA you see of Uganda has had wings of growing because there's somebody somewhere who is committed and focused on supporting us to be what we are. So Jeff, thank you very much, and please pass on our appreciation to the entire team that is supporting us. As you already know, FINCA is focusing on innovation. If the customers we are dealing with 34 years ago are different today. The customer is more demanding. The customer is expecting more customer experiences, better ones. The customer is expecting more innovations. And as FINCA, we are committed to be that person that will fit into the footsteps of the new customer that we have today in Uganda. So I want to thank you very much and to commit that as on the behalf of the board of directors that you're seeing here, 100% are here. I want to commit further that FINCA will continue to play a role that they've played and even play it much, much better. Thank you very much. Allow me now to invite Jeff to speak to us, and then...
And that are grateful, and we are proud as well to have become, in those 3 decades, really part of the fabric of your community here. Let me take the opportunity as well here in this moment to thank the Bank of Uganda and our partners and friends for all that they do to create the right financial landscape, the right rules and regulations, and the right transparent environment within which an organization like FINCA can thrive. We draw inspiration, as Olive said, from our own customers. The people we serve give us so much energy. Their passion, their commitment, their drive, their acumen, their skill at business, all give us reason to believe that there is a brighter future for them and we hope to be part of it. And we, as James said here this morning, would simply say that we renew our commitment and hope that there will be another 32 successful years and more. So I will leave it there, and perhaps Olive, James, if you want to go ahead with unveiling the next part of our presentation.
Hello. We're going to have our MD do a brief intro of Madame Mudola, and she will say something, then we sign these for the picture moment, and yeah, that will be it, and take questions.
Thank you very much. So it's with immense pleasure once again that I introduce to you Miss Janet Mudola, here on my left. All right. And Janet, you're welcome. So let me tell you about Janet, but I want to start it with a very short story. In 1992, our founding organization, FINCA International, for which we have representation from our global president, came to Uganda, the first subsidiary that was really opened in Africa. In 92, in a village in Chimanto, in Uganda, they met a group of women who are trained into a village banking model of financial services. As you're all aware, our women have challenges getting into the financial services landscape. Lack of securities, lack of financial education or literacy, if you call it, lack of data that allows them to actually get formal financial services. The group lending model, what we call village banking, allowed the women in Chimanto to come together as a group, guarantee each other, and get financial services and the training needed to succeed in their lives. I am honored to mention that Miss Janet Mudola was there in 1992 when FINCA's journey began. And she's been a chair of our very first group that FINCA provided financial services to. She leaves the testimony of the impact that we've made over those years. If it wasn't the success of Janet and her colleagues in Tweyambe Chimanto Group in Iganga, FINCA would not have reached the millions of customers we've reached today, because they perfected the model and they were there as role models for other groups to learn from and to allow FINCA to expand that capital across the markets, not only in Uganda, but to move it to 6 other countries in Africa where we have expanded FINCA's services. So we are very proud to have Janet here, and today we will have the opportunity to sign up with her as a FINCA ambassador. As an ambassador, she's our testimony of financial services impact and really making sure that our mission of ensuring that we end poverty actually comes to reality, and that we reach to every community and every last mile of customer who needs FINCA services in this market. With that, I would love to invite Janet. She will speak in the language she's very comfortable to, and we will have an opportunity to translate that to you. Janet, you're welcome to speak to us. Thank you. All right. Can this reach? You can speak. It'll be fine.
Ba baba ni ba mama aba FINCA Uganda, ndi musanufu ino olunaku lwa leero luno okusisinkana niimwe mu bulamu buno obw'ekiseera kino. Ndi musanufu ino okusinziira ku FINCA byegiyire tetukolera nga ife abatweyambe Chimanto. Tufunye mu bingi ino ebiwoomera okwinongola buli mukyala n'asobola okutuuka ku idaala nga ife lye twemereireku mu kaseera kano, kubanga bw'otaguma niweegaita niiba ino ezira nikyofuna. Aye okwegaita kwatufunisa omukisa era nga tufunyemu. Nebaza ino abaafinka olw'ekirabo kye baatuwa eky'omwana waife okusobola okumutusomekeza. Ndowooza twandiremereirwa titwandimazeeku, aye agali finka twamalaku era buti twenyumiriza nife abantu ab'okuboneraku mu kitundu gye tufuluma. Ekibiina kino twakitandiika 1992 era okuva bwe twakitandiika mbaire chairperson waakyo paka n'olwaleero. Tyalondebwa lwa busomi, tyalondebwa lwa bugayiga, aye nalondebwa lwa busobozi bwange nangeri yakusobola kumaba nange kubagema bulungi. Era nekakasa nti nikino ekifo kye mwantampaire ndida kisobola kuba ndasobola okukumaba nange n'okunoonya abo abali kulemerwa obwegayisi, ndakubanoonya mu byalo gye bali, ndabanoonya ku bulanki gediri, nsobola okubakunganya era mbakumekume begayite basobola okulya ku mugaati gwa finka guno nga ife bwe tugukozeisa. Mbeyanziiza ino nti mwebale ino bye mukoze, mwebalire irala, ndigalala niimwe ekiseera kyona kyona odinga walumbe natwawukainya, aye nga kyekyo nze ndimwikiriza okutambulira agalala niimwe buli gemu nantwala woona woona.
Thank you so much. I was informed that we don't need translate for the press. They are multilingual. So they definitely understood that. Thank you very much. Primrose, I think this is the moment where we sign, and then we will take questions, if any. All right, good.
Mike.
my first question to you is, could you please explain what the inclusion aspect of the people like the women segment and the other uncatered for area aspects of people, categories of people like the revenue, the refugees, will impact on Uganda's banking sector and financial inclusion journey? Just that, if you could give it to me in English and Luganda. Then to you, Mr. Flowers, you've hinted on Uganda's financial landscape. I'd like to understand from you, from the way you are operating, we are running a 72 trillion economy at the hand that is much more reliant on debt and borrowing. Part of the lenders are the banking institutions which are domestic, and in a way that has caused a lot of or some issues about the economy's movement or forward or thriving. Could you give counsel, you as maybe one of the managers and the top MDs of a financial sector like FINCA, which is successful, on how best Uganda can move from the state in way of its financial improvement in landscape moving forward, especially in the borrowing, poor borrowing mindset and approach?
My name is Ismail Ladu, Nation Media Group. When I walked in, I read Umar's story, and the question is, when it comes to hand-holding the people you worked with, at what point do you let them, drive by themselves? Looking at the Neymar story, it was a story of struggle, success, then struggle. Okay, so looking at what Mama Mudola is doing with her group, at what point do you let them say, okay, you can drive this vehicle, or you are part of the journey throughout? Lastly, of course, looking from that story, although FINCA came back to handheld, but I get a feeling it was a little bit too late. So just very, very briefly, in terms of how handhold the people you work with, just take us through that.
I find it very interesting that the brand ambassador sorry, my name is Simon from the New Vision. I'd just like to know what informed the decision to have Janet as the brand ambassador.
Okay, thank you very much, members of the media. And I think the first question was the category that FINCA works through, which is the women. And I think you're looking at the women and why the women and why the refugee decision for us to move into that direction. But I'm sure many of you, you've been following the trend in Uganda. If you just look at the population over the years, I think the government has just released the new population, I think about 45 million, but we are told that number will be confirmed. If you look at the number of women in the population of Uganda, it's huge. I can't have the exact percentage, but it's big and has been growing and growing and growing. So if you're going to have impact in this society, then you cannot do without targeting the women. Secondly, if you look at the women that we target, these are the women that need financial support in order for them to either start businesses, run successful businesses, or be able to make a difference in a family. Those are the lower level. Now, those women, from the stories we've all seen, they are the ones who run the families. They pay education, they pay school fees for children. Right now they are building homes, whether it's a mud house, whether it's a few bricks, it's the women. They are responsible for taking children to hospitals, and many of them are even responsible for looking after their own husbands. I think the stories have been very clear. I think there are communities where we've seen the men are maybe drinking the whole day, the women have run these groups successfully. So the impact of women can never be underestimated. And that's why FINCA has to focus on that, focus on the disadvantaged women. And when we make a difference in those women, we'll change society, we'll send this economy. If you saw Janet's story, one of the child who was raised is now a doctor. How many doctors do we have that have come from the groups that FINCA has been supporting? On the refugees, that is also big. We've been seeing the trends over there. Several camps have been coming in. We have Ramwanja in Fort Portal. You have camps in Imbarara. You have camps in Gulu. So camps, we cannot run away from camps because we are surrounded by countries from different areas. When there's war in Sudan, like we know where Sudan is, it will bring refugees in Uganda. So when we have refugees in Uganda and they are not financially supported to be able to support the communities, will actually result into other bits, theft, fights. So for us, we want to create a peaceful society where people can live successfully and make a difference in society. So those are the two I would give you on those two.
Okay.
You want the Uganda now? Movino baby so sebiona.
There was a question on how we reached the decision to choose.
James will take it.
Chair, you will give us Uganda at once.
Okay.
That is
Okay.
not a question.
Okay. So we'll have Jeff.
Okay, certainly. So I think I should say first, I think there are many people here on this panel who know the Ugandan financial sector and investment sector better than I do. Nevertheless, I would maybe offer just a couple of comments. It's clear to us that the Bank of Uganda has been a partner to institutions like ours and has created really a helpful environment within which we can offer a full range of financial services to our customers, including savings. That is not true in every country where FINCA works, and we are grateful for that partnership. I would emphasize that. For many of our customers, actually, savings is a more important product than credit. A safe place to keep money, to grow their investments is important, and we are very pleased to be able to provide that service. FINCA serves a wide range of customers, increasingly around the world, including customers in rural areas, customers who depend on agriculture for their living. And so we will be continually grateful for policies that promote a successful agriculture sector, where those businesses become viable and become viable customers of institutions like ours more and more. Clearly, we recognize that our climate is changing, and so continued government policy to address climate change in a constructive way will, of course, also improve our ability as a financial institution to serve that segment of our customers. Once again, I would just reiterate our thanks to the Bank of Uganda. It is a very strong regulator, a very capable regulator, and a valued partner for FINCA.
Thank you very much. I'll take the other two questions, and preferably I'll start with Simon's question, Simon from New Vision. What informed us to pick Janet as our brand ambassador? Janet comes with a very powerful story, as I said it, of being the first beneficiaries of a FINCA loan 32 years ago. And she's walked the journey of how that impacts life. She's talked about it and the successes that came from the initial interaction with FINCA. And majorly, the two services there was one of financial education. So we spent quite some time trying to bring forth the knowledge of how to save, and how to account for that money. Eventually, how do you multiply those investments for a sustainable life? And that's how we believe that she's seen it all. She's experienced that. And we are also recognizing the value of how they respected the dynamics of how to operate in a responsible way through that group. Because many have collapsed along the way, but Chimanto has succeeded. And they can showcase the success and the continuity of such an investment. That is how Janet becomes that ambassador. And we believe with over the years to come, we will learn quite a lot from the positive experiences they've gone through, but also the challenges that they have encountered. Which brings me to the second question on, is this, do they reach a level of sustainability where FINCA has to step away and our clients can survive on their own without a loan, you know, for instance, and I think it's majorly a loan. And I would love to answer that in a couple of ways. First of all, as Jeff has rightly mentioned, one of the most powerful products we offer is savings. And it's the first step in our financial education to encourage the customers to save. And because then they cushion the uncertainties that come in the future. The micro segment is vulnerable to multiple shocks. Whether it's climate, because the majority are dealing in subsistence agriculture, and the small swing of climate that we've seen, the low rains or the heavy rains, can wipe out all their investments for that season. And that takes them quite aback. We've seen that health is another critical part that impacts them. Recently, we had the pandemic of COVID-19 that set so many such stories of the Janets decades behind on what they had achieved, because their savings were wiped out and they had to even sell some of their assets to survive. So we see a lot of those shocks, and we work together with the clients to build to a level where they're able to override those shocks and survive. But effectively, definitely the greatest story is one where that initial loan capital allowed them to educate, which is what we've seen across the board, and the power of education of the children to be able to generate more wealth and be sustainable in future is a great story that all these parents talk about. But also acquire assets. They have acquired a lot of assets, and indeed also improved their standards of living, which is a very big part of what we want to see in the society today. So we stay in that journey in across all those products and services, but definitely the goal is one of sustainability. And our focus going forward, one of our key strategic areas is one of really inclusive financial services, one that will bring partners across multiple sectors, whether it's health, whether it's education, so that they get a blended form of financial services that support areas that would otherwise lead them to lose all that investment. Thank you very much.
Okay. Ekintu ekikwata ku bakyala ng'era bwe mumanyi, FINCA omulamwa egutadde nnyo ku kuyingirira oba okukolagana n'abo abantu especially abakyala abali ku community eza wansi. Ffenna tukimanyi bulungi nnyo nti abakyala bano bwe tutunulira ku population eya Uganda okuva emyaka gigenze gyeyongera, ne kaakati census eyakafuluma ndowooza abantu millions 45.9, era abakyala bavuddemu nga be basinga obungi. Ate bwe tudda ku ekyo nga tetugenze ku bakyala okusinga nti be basinga obungi, naye abakyala abeetaaga okwata ku mukono basobole okuba nga basobola okutuukirira obuyambi obbawa ssente, basobole okuteeka mu bizinesi, basobole okusomesa abaana, basobole okujjanjaba abaana, basobole okwezimba. Tukimanyi bulungi nnyo nti families ezisinga eziri mu kategori eyo abali eyo mu byalo, abali mu entrepreneurship businesses, abakyala be basinga okuyimirizaawo family zino. So bw'oyimirizaawo omukyala n'osobola okumuwa ensimbi zino n'atandika bizinensi ye, omanya nti family ne poverty, obwavu mu Uganda bujja kendeera. So FINCA be bamu ku ffe abasazeewo okuyingirira awo, era tumanyi tujja kukyusa ebintu ebisinga nga bwe bifaanana. Bwe tutunuulira ba refugees, tukimanyi nti settlements, refugees zeeyongedde, refugee oba tuziyita settlement, enkambi z'ababudamu zeeyongedde. Tuyina ate ennene, simanyi bamuzikyaliddeko, tuyina Lwamwanja, abo baavanga Congo, Rwanda nga bonna bajja. Tuyina Embarara, tuyina Eggulu, ate Uganda yeetoolodde ensi nyingi. Buli nsi bw'erwana oba babeera wakatabanguko mu nsi endala, ba refugee beeyongera. Saawa zino tubadde ne Sudan, tumanyi bameka abazze. Bw'otakwata ku ba refugee bano mu nkambi eyo gye bali, n'obawa obuyambi buno nga FINCA bwegaba, ne basobola okuba nga basobola okweyimirizaawo n'obusimbi oba bu bizinensi okusomesa abaana, ojja kuba oyongedde ate okulwanagana mu Uganda. Kuba bajja kufuuka babbi, batandike okulwana, bakole ebintu byonna byonna ebitasoboka. So okubayamba basobola okufiitinga mu Uganda obulungi, FINCA yo ebakwatako era nabo nebawola ssente, nebateeka mu bibiina, ne basomesa abaana, ne batwala abaana mu madwaliro. Era ffe tumanyi nti FINCA omulamwa gwekola gujja kukyusa eggwanga lino nga tuva wansi eyo nga tudda waggulu. Bwe tutunuulira ba youth population, era tugambye nti bwe tutunuulira population gye baalaze, abaana abali wansi w'emyaka 18 bali mikono gy'abakyala. Kale omukyala ono yeetaaga okubeera nga ayambibwa okusobola okukyusa eggwanga nga bwe lifaanana. Okay. Olunaku olwaleero FINCA kyesookerako efunye omugenyi waayo gwe tuyita Mr. Jeff Flowers. Yakulira FINCA eyo ebweru ffe gye tutali. FINCA nga bwe mutulaba tweyimirizaawo nga tulina abantu abalala be tukolagana nabo okuva mu FINCA Impact Finance. Jeff Flowers gy'ava n'abantu abalala. Era bwe tutyo bwe tubadde okuva mu myaka gye tubaddewo 34 ekibiina kyatandikibwa nga kiva bweru wa Uganda. Olunaku olwaleero tumukyaziza lwe lusoose okujja e Uganda, era kati tuli basanyufu nti tumulina. Naye ate era ekirala kye tukoze, tugambye nti FINCA mu myaka 34 ekintu kyekoze ky'amaanyi. Ne tugamba nti ate nga bwe mbagambye badde mu bakyala, ekyusiza obulamu bw'abakyala. So tuleese omukyala gwe bayita Janet Mudola, eyayogeddeko nammwe, Janet Mudola, okuva mu kibiina kye bayita Kimanto Group Village Saving Scheme ey'abakyala. Mukyala Mudola tumulonze kubanga ekyo kye kibiina ekyasookerwako okugulawo FINCA mu Uganda. Nga bw'ogamba nti ozadde omwana gwe wasookerako okuzaala, ndowooza mukimanyi ekyo. Omwana eyagulawo ki? Olubuto lwa maama. Village eno era yasooka okugulawo olubuto lwa FINCA mu Uganda. Byemulaba byonna byonna abantu tulina 15,000 egy'abakasitoma, 45% bakyala, business tuyingiridde mmeka, eyazaala eyatandika omulamu ogwo yali Kimanto Village. Ate omukyala ono gwe tulina Mudola era ye mukyala eyasooka nga chairperson. Atambuza ekibiina ekyo okuva bwe batandika kati myaka 34 akyamanaginga ekibiina ekyo. Tukimanyi bulungi nnyo nti ebibiina ebimu byaggalawo n'ebitali bya FINCA olw'obuzibu obuteebereka. So tusazeewo mulona ne tugamba ono yakwata ekibiina n'akitambuza emyaka 34 ne kaakati tukyenyumirizaamu. Katumuteekewo nga ambassador wa FINCA Uganda, atandike okuwa abakyala abalala nabo balabe nti oba Mudola asobola, they can also do. Oba Mudola asobola okusomesa abaana, nabo bajja kusobola okusomesa ki abaana. So okuva olwaleero Mudola agenda kubeera face eya FINCA Uganda, ajja kubeera ambassador owa FINCA Uganda. Bwe tunagendanga ku mikolo ajja kujja ayogere eri abakyala okwetooloola ensi eggwanga lyaffe lyonna, era bwe tulisobola tulimutwalako ate nayogerako n'abalala. Mwebale nnyo. Myaka 2 kubeera kati tukitandise butandisi tugambye emyaka 2 naye ojja kusanga nti ajja kubanga akutte ne ku bakyala abalala aye ne tufunayo ne ambassador omulala n'omulala we tunaamalira nga finka nnene nnyo mu ggwanga lino mu gurupu z'abakyala abo.
All right.
Amannya gange nze Olive Birungi Rumonya Mrs.
Okay, Peter Mutabazi is my name, UBC. Congratulations to Janet. My question is, how will her performance be measured? Thank you.
Thank you very much. How will our performance be measured? I think the number one KPI is the number of events that we will have Janet participate in with FINCA. Okay, this is one of them. The very first press event with him. She has started her work. And as we unveil her to all of you out there, you will see a lot more of her. She will participate with our engagements and share her experiences. I think the testimonies are better heard from those who have actually benefited from the work of FINCA. And so that's how we will measure it. I don't know the tools within the marketing space, but we'll definitely get feedback from our audience and from our greater clients out there once they interact with our ambassador. Thank you so much. Yes.